I'm Sam. I work with Arteza. You might have seen me in some videos. So what really got me into drifting started with super cliche, but Fast and Furious, especially Tokyo Drift. Seeing the cars in that movie, especially moving from the other Fast and Furious movies to the Tokyo Drift movies, I was just in love with the cars and that sort of culture and vibe. And going from that to video games, whether it was like Need for Speed Underground 2 or Forza, where I try to drift and just like keep grabbing the e-brake and thought I needed 1,000 horsepower with like an IS300 or like S chassis. That evolved into realizing there's real drift events like Super D, and especially Final Bout, where at those events you'd see the cars that you basically saw in the movies or you would play in the video games and modify and drive, and these are real cars with real people, and they look like show cars, and they are throwing them at walls and at each other in super close tandems, and they're like 300 horsepower. They're not these crazy monsters, but they're absolutely ripping. And just something that I always thought was super unachievable is right in front of me. And that was super infectious. And then getting to know the people and getting to know the community just drove me even further to want to start driving myself. So at Super D, I'll never forget, my best friends Pete and I were there at US Air in Shawano, Wisconsin. And we're sitting on the fence, the event is over, and the competition's done, so it's just kind of exhibition runs, and we're sitting on the fence, which is the advanced track, and people are just ripping by. I mean, it's the end of the event, so they're just killing the tires off, and it was kind of like in the later afternoon, so it's kind of like the golden hour, and we're sitting on the fence, and I was like, I gotta do this. Like, I need to drive. I can't just like sit here and just always watch. And Pete was looking at selling his IS300, which turned out to be this IS300, and I was like, I need that. So I had a Mustang, sold a Mustang, thank God, walked down the street because Pete lives a couple doors down from me, and bought this car. And my whole intention was to drift it, and I told myself that. I didn't know if I was actually gonna do it, and then I just was like, no, why not? Just go do it. So took the car and just started drifting. So I got the car and I was like, all right, how to drift? So literally like Googling it, watched a ton of videos by Chelsea DeNofa and his School of Drift and how to drift, and talking to people about car setup and what to do. And I showed up to my first drift day. With Club FR, I had no idea what I was doing. The car was basically stock. It had a torsion LSD from an FRS and coilovers, and that's it. So I showed up and basically was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to do this. I'm just gonna try, take any advice I could. And instantly it was like the best community that I could have asked for. Some of the people I met then on that first drift day, like Ryan, are some of my best friends right now, and we've done some crazy things together. But that first day I sucked bad. Like it was kind of comical how bad it was, but the car was great, and I actually drifted that whole first year on just the car as it was, no other modifications to it. Nothing really broke on it at all. The thing I started doing though is just learning how to drift with shallow angle, because the car didn't have a lot of angle, and learning what to do and what I liked about the car, what I didn't like about the car, which into the next season, because we have this thing called winter in Wisconsin, allowed me to work on the car a ton and realize this is what I want to do, this is how I want to do it. And one of the big things for me was stock angle on an IS300 is about 32 to 34 degrees. There's actually measurements on the garage floor right there in front of the camera where I was measuring the angle, and I wanted some more angle. So pieced together an angle kit with some of the brands I thought would be the absolute best for what they do specifically, not just an off-the-shelf angle kit. And I knew I didn't need huge angle, but I wanted something more to help me with. And what I ended up with was perfect. So really focused on steering and suspension and car setup versus power. It is a totally stock NA2JZ, and it doesn't make a lot of power, but it makes you drive just the balls out of the car, and you really have to push the car to get what you want out of it, but you're not fighting the steering and the suspension as much. It's definitely too soft in the front for what it should be, but I know what I need to upgrade, and it's just been an awesome car to learn in. I haven't missed an event with the car. Knock on concrete, that hurt. And it's just been an awesome car for me. This car for me too was just about seat time. I needed to learn every YouTuber out there or anyone on the forums or anyone I talked to said seat time is key. And that's what I did with this car, was just get seat time. I did tons and tons of laps. I think one drift day, it was like during quarantine drift days, so there's a limited number of drivers. And on the advanced track on the odometer, I think I did like 78 miles on this car. Blew the radiator up, didn't know it at the time because it was cold enough. Got home and the radiator was leaking. But the car, it's been awesome. I've gotten so many laps with this thing, so much seat time, which has really led me to know what I want next and what the next evolution is that I want to do. I love this car. I just want to make it nice. The goal was always to be a daily drifter, and that's why I want to keep it. I can't get rid of it. This car means more to me than probably most cars ever have, just because of memories with it. So you clicked on this video to learn about a grassroots drift car and building one, and that's going to be what's next, is learning with this car what I'm going to apply to the next one, and what everyone in the community has helped me learn and teach me of what to do and what not to do, and how I want to apply that and move on to a new chassis. That was a crispy one. What am I talking about? This is a 1992 Nissan 240 SX. When I originally was looking for an S chassis, I wanted a hatch with pop-ups, and I got a coupe with a Silvia front end, which is the opposite basically of what I wanted, but I absolutely love it. The coupe is something I always thought was really cool. A lot of the guys I watched drifting, like I mentioned, Super D and Final Bout, drift the coupes. They all look super dope. The guys at Animal Style were a huge inspiration. So I was like, yep, coupe's pretty dope. Silvia front end, it's pretty cool too. So previous owner, he took really, really good care of this. Considering it's like a 30-year-old car now, but it has an SR in it. That was kind of one of my big things, is I really wanted an SR. Going from a JZ, I thought it'd be cool to have an SR, and it's awesome. It's such a cool motor. A lot of like the usual bolt-ons done to it, as far as like turbos, it's got pond cams, just some basic stuff, HKS coilovers, adjustable arms, just all the things that make it a really good starting platform. And it's not like a blank canvas, but it's enough of a blank canvas where I can make this my own car. So moving from the IS300, I learned a lot in that car, and I kind of wanted a little bit more power. I'm not saying I was at the limit of what I could do, because there's always room to grow, but I wanted a little bit more power. And I thought I could either 1UZ swap it for a little bit more power, or turbo the 2J. Doing an LS swap wasn't in it for me. I needed to stay in the Toyota realm. But either of those is really expensive to do it right. And for the price to do it right and the supporting mods to keep it reliable, because that's key with a drift car, I started thinking, what else could I get? And I've always wanted an S chassis. And after driving the IS300 and really driving that car hard, I thought if I could find something that's a little bit lighter weight and had more power, that would be ideal. So I started looking for an S chassis. I told some of my friends I kind of wanted one. I wasn't going to buy one until the season was over. And my friend Pete, who I bought the IS300 from, he actually found this 240 on Zilvia, which is a forum that I couldn't believe people were still using. And it was a really nice guy named Tony. He lives down by Madison. And I went down there, looked at it. I knew right away I had to get it, and ended up picking it up. And I've been super happy with it. I actually have drifted it already at a staffing event, and John let me take a couple staff laps, which was super fun, and this thing frickin' rips. So I came to Arteza. One of the things I was really interested in, obviously, is drifting, and really wanted to bring the wheels to that performance aspect of it. We were doing really well, and we had really proven ourselves in the show scene, and obviously people, the daily drivers, but going to the track is a whole another level. And drifting is probably the hardest use of equipment, or for a car or any supporting mod on the track. So we started to get some wheels on drift cars. Colin and his S14 is probably namely the main one we had him on, and really put them to the test, and they performed really well. So when I got my 240, it's an easy choice of what you want for wheels. So I think the bronze carriers here look awesome with the white. Obviously they're lightweight, kind of a unique look to them. But I also bought a 240 because some of the cool things we've been working on are more akin to the 90s style, and something that I think the drift community is really gonna like. Not that I had any say in that whatsoever. So for existing wheels, obviously lightweight is a big thing that we talk about all the time. If you haven't had the opportunity to pick one up, it's crazy what the difference really is between these and some of the other wheels that I was running. It's really crazy just when you pick it up. Don't put it on a scale, like numbers tell you the story, but when you just pick them up and have one in each hand, it's crazy the difference. And they're like the big brake clearance, all that stuff that we talk about, it really matters, and it's really fun to be a part of a company that cares about that, and we can use those wheels on the track. So what I want to do with the car, Arteza wheels, obviously, have those on some of our new designs. Super excited about those. Aero, so I got some Origin Aero that's going to go on the car. Paint, I'm going to mix up a little bit. Not really sure if I want to say what it is just yet, but it's going to be very JDM OEM theme, so you can probably guess what that is with it being a Silvia look. Interior, bucket seat, probably cage it. Thinking of bolt-in cage, kind of stay with that JDM theme. Then just make it look a little nicer on the inside. Full interior is I think the way to go. You want your drift car to be a nice place to be. And then probably do a little bit of a livery on the car. Kind of want to support some of the homies that I know in the community and support some of the stuff that they're doing, so get some of their names on there. Otherwise, just keep it simple. A drift car should be reliable, especially like a grassroots drift car. I live close enough to the track where it's about 45 minute drive. I really want to be able to drive the car to the track, drive it back. I don't want to have to trailer it. I want to keep things simple, drive as much as possible, drive it in town as much as you can. But at the end of the day, like if you're looking at making a drift car, I firmly believe you should take pride in your drift car, because when someone sees your car, that's the impression they get on you. And if you have some clapped looking car with stuff falling off and it looks terrible, that's the impression people get, and you should take pride in it, because drifting really, in my opinion, is an expression of yourself and an expression of yourself on the track. So you want your car to look cool, you want it to match your driving, you want it to be exciting, you just want to be cool, and you're doing drifting for you. You shouldn't do it for social media or clout or any of that. You do it for yourself, and it's so rewarding, and you want it to reflect yourself and express your personality on the track with your car and your driving, and that's just what makes it fun. So we're gonna cover the transformation of this car on the channel. I'm super excited to do that, get to work with Josh and Gels and some of the other guys, which will be really fun to do. So follow along with us, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and it'll be fun to walk through this journey together.